Need a Ride by Nikki. In my first job out of college, I moved from a big city to rural coastal Louisiana to work for a newspaper. Late one night, I was coming back from an assignment extra tired. I worked hard at my job, slept bad, and the stress was bone deep. I just wanted to get back to the office, finish my writing for the night, and go home. Bayou Sally Road would get me home sooner, though I hated to take it at night. It wound in sharp corners through open pitch-black marsh. No shoulder, no streetlights, just a few skeletal trees and the open grassy water. It was the end of the world, and no one was coming to get you if you made a mistake. I slowed down to a crawl to drive it. But when I took one of the hard, blind corners, I had to slam on my brakes. There was an older man in the road, and he didn't even flinch when my brights caught him in their spotlight. I wondered if he was drunk and worried about what I should do. There were no houses around here, and he might be in some kind of trouble. I sat there with my foot on the brake, waiting for him to say something, some small, desperate tale like, "Thank God you came, I've been in an accident," or "My car broke down and I need a ride into town," but he was as still and as quiet as I was. And we only stared blankly at each other, waiting for someone to make a move. "You could just leave, you know," a small part of me said. "You're a woman and you're alone. No one would blame you." The only way past him on the narrow road would be to pass him so closely he could have reached out and touched my car door. I cracked my window and asked if he needed some help. He only looked at me. I started to feel a creeping panic, my body responding to the idea that something was wrong. "Fuck this," I screamed. "Not now, not today." "I'll call someone," I told him finally, and rolled my window up firmly, checked the door locks, and took off around him. He didn't waver from his spot in the road even as I hit the gas and carefully dipped around him, crunching on the narrow gravel shoulder. One quick turn and he disappeared behind me in the marsh. I was spooked, so I drove fast and didn't stop and waited until I finally saw the first lit up signs of civilization to get out of my car to call the cops in the presence of other people. The clerk listened silently while I reeled off my story on the phone to an officer who promised to make the drive down there and look for the man after taking my information. When I finally hung up, she said, "You were down there on Bayou Sally?" "Yeah," I said. "He was alone? No car?" "Yeah," I said. "I have no idea how he got out there. There was nothing." "He asked you for a ride?" she said. "No," I said. "You offer to give him one?" she said. Great, I thought. Now she thinks I'm some kind of asshole. "No," I said, "but..." "Good," she said. Because that probably wasn't no man this time of night. The road, she said, was haunted by spirits who would often try to catch tourists, people who didn't know any better, and if you agreed to pick the spirit up, he could ask for another favor, usually your soul. I nodded gravely at the woman, but laughed hysterically to myself when I finally got back into my car, still shaking with a bit of adrenaline and fear. When I still couldn't shake the creeps the next day, I called the cops back to see if they'd ever picked someone up. Sure, he'd just been some old drunk. They drove the road several times, the cop said. There was no one.